The Maple Leafs lose yet another defenseman to injury as the offense continues to sputter. Hey everyone, welcome to Inside the Leafs. Rob Wong, joined alongside by Toronto Sun Maple Leafs writers Lance Hornby and Terry Koshan. And well, just when you thought when the Maple Leafs blue line was getting thin, it's gotten even thinner as Mark Giordano is going to miss some time, according to head coach Sheldon Keefe, after suffering an upper body injury in Tuesday night's game against Florida. Terry, does this increase the urgency for GM Brad Treliving to bring in some reinforcements on the back end, or can the Leafs just weather the storm like they have much of this season?
No, this increases it for sure. And, guys, a lot of the talk has been, and Treliving has kind of acknowledged this without saying it explicitly, the Leafs need to improve the upper end of their defense core. Now they've got to worry about adding depth, and that's really what they have to do at this point if Giordano's out for any length of time. We're pretty sure that Klingberg's not playing again this year or close to it. Liljegren dealing with the high ankle sprain. We all know how long those things can take to have somebody fully recovered. So yeah, it's desperate here. And we'll find out more at practice today what Keefe has to say, but it's Giordano. It's not good, and yeah, it definitely does put the heat on Treliving to add. I have full respect for what William Lagesson and Simon Benoit have done coming in, but they were signed to plug holes over short periods of time, not be long-term answers, and that's what they've become. I just don't think they can sustain it. The Leafs can't sustain it.
Well, Terry, are you saying they're not Keith and Seabrook? Is that what you're intimating there with Lagesson and Benoit? Yeah.
And Starot, McCabe, and Cabriolet.
Terry's right, of course. Interesting thing is, where do they go from here? I mean, there's everyone's trying to link them with Calgary, but I think Zadorov may have angered more people than helped his own cause to be traded with his public request to move. There is the link there, of course, with Treliving, but there's salary caps. There's a whole bunch of other things that factor in there. And as Treliving said earlier in the week, there's lots of teams, as there always is, looking for stud defensemen. It's interesting. The name Ilya Lyubushkin has come up in the rumor mill as which people can't help sometimes looking around. Again, you got to see how long Giordano's out for, but he's, though, at 2.75, I think, for this year, has had some success with the Leafs, or at least some time there, and played alongside Morgan Riley, and Anaheim lost again last night, so I don't know how fast they might be looking to move people. But anyway, it's easier said than done to add depth. I don't see anyone outside of Topi Niemela, maybe on the farm, or Mika Kokkonen are two guys that they've been high on, a couple of draft choices. But really, depending on how long Giordano's out in concert with Liljegren and Klingberg, it's not looking good.
Yeah, tough situation.
Yeah, you know what, Lance? Even the minors option, I don't think is a great one for the Leafs at this point. You're going to force either of those two players that you mentioned, Yemler or Kokkonen, into roles that I don't know if they're ready for. Is Max Lajoie your next call up? We'll see. But if Giordano is out for a while, it's some trouble here for Toronto. There's no doubt about that.
Meanwhile, the offense still trying to figure themselves out as the Leafs got just that one regulation goal from Noah Gregor in the shootout win over Florida. Austin Matthews has just one goal in his last 8 games. Mitch Marner's pointless streak is up to 3, and even William Nylander without a point in 3 straight as well. Lance, how concerned are you about the lack of scoring right now, especially from the core 4 pieces?
Well, the contrast, obviously, being the core 4 were the only guys who were getting it done earlier on. So there has to be a big concern there. And it looked like maybe guys like Domi and Bertuzzi returning the corner. Bertuzzi's had a couple that lasted a while. Domi still without a goal, believe it or not. So he's looking more comfortable in the middle there. Big concern, I think, is the power play. That's 3 games, I believe, without a goal, and that's their longest slump in more than a year. And last night, they had a chance to not, again, as they've had in many games recently, had a chance to end it in regulation, or at least early in overtime, and did not. So I think the power play is a big issue there. But you know what? It's you look in the morning, and there's Noah Gregor making the most of his opportunity, and who knows if they get someone else to in the bottom 6 to pop a couple. You've had Yarncroke being hot and cold. Maybe that sustains them until the top guns get back on track.
Yeah, you know what? You know what they always say, Lance, you get one on the power play and then get things going for the other periods of the game. The concern for me is if you're playing a tight game like you are last night, or whatever you want to call it, against a division rival, a club that's coming off, a game the night before in Ottawa where they spanked the Senators 5-0. And none of your big ticket players can make a difference. And that, to me, it doesn't matter if they're doing something or not. Listen, I'll give Mitch Marner a pass here. He takes the shot off the cheek and he's wearing the cage. He comes back and, good for him on doing that. And, we didn't talk to Mitch after the game last night, but I'm sure that the mask, the cage would have been a bit of a hindrance. But the fact of the matter is, if you're Tavares or Nylander or Matthews or Marner, these are the games you make a difference in. And that didn't happen. And, I know Gregor's a great story for a day and hell of a shot, the great speed last night, especially on the goal in regulation. But that's where they got to get going here and try to figure this out and get this offense going and making a difference in these games. And, on the other side of the puck, Matthews wasn't great last night. None of them were. I really hate to single anybody out. Yeah, it was just not good by any stretch. And there's concern there too, because you're talking about a team that hadn't played at home in 17 or 18 days, was coming off, not like they were coming off the road the night before. They had a couple of days to prepare for this game, and we're looking forward to starting a 3-game homestand. Yeah, they won, but without the things that Joseph Wall did, they don't win. And as I said, the big guys weren't there in the clutch when they needed them.
Okay, and I quickly add that William Nylander's had some real bad luck the last couple of games. I think a total of maybe 6 posts and crossbars, adding to the ones that were, off the post and the bar at some point. So he's still having a good year, but, as Terry says, they got to fall in.
Yep, even though they are not firing on full cylinders, the Leafs still finding ways to get points, sitting at 11-6-3, which is definitely important at this time of the season. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments section below or send us an email at torontomapleleafs@postmedia.com. For Lance Hornby and Terry Koshan, I'm Rob Wong. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time.